As usual, professional streamer, as usual. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the stream. You may hear thunder here and there because we are having a big thunderstorm in the background from where I am. I hope all of you guys are having a very, very, very good day, or afternoon, or evening, whichever it is for you. We're going to have quite a long discussion here because what's going to be on the docket for today is very controversial for some gamers. In the meantime, before we get into it, let's bring up our wonderful guest. He has helped me bring the show to where it is today. He was problematic white guy John. If it
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
You called in the thunder. It is me.
Yeah.
Hail all, and mind the hail that's coming down in your area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is, ladies and
up?
gentlemen, he is the one that helped me get set up in the first place so you guys could watch this. Wonderful lady who can never seem to get my picture up on the screen quicker.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, making adjustments, professional streamers and whatnot, I use Eevee Mux most of the time these days. So evidently, I didn't even pay attention that my camera was set way too wide. So there we are. Now it's a little bit more dialed in. No one needs to see the backside of the screen. It's not doing anything. Anyways, you're doing quite well. It's a nice new jazzy intro. I remember the original one because I only had to play it 87,000 times. In the weeks leading up to getting the show up and running off the ground. But that's a nice new intro. It's jazzy.
That's the music is a mashup between Stupenzo made the original song, and then he made another one. And it was a little bit off, so he and I did a little bit of a mashup of his song and one of the ones that I made and came up with that. As for the video, we're working on the videos.
Indeed, I might know a thing or two about that.
Yeah, we're going to be replacing certain clips from certain areas. The Pragmata one, I had to have the little girl dancing. I wanted Diana dancing in my stream. I was like, I have to have her in there.
At some point in time, I'm going to have to make some kind of weird visual collage kind of thing, utilizing Diana from Pragmata with, Twin Peaks, with Coop, talking into the voice recorder to Diana.
And
there's got to be something there that I can do something with.
And all you boys watching, John will be the one who will be making the Red Boy clip that I keep on forgetting to make for him. He'll be putting.
Well, in theory, I mean, I have constructed a few things, but they have.
We will get around to it.
They need to be changed for reasons, different music or what have you, and it's one of those things like when you're editing, it's almost easier just to start from zero. Sometimes especially like when you go and you make an edit and if you want to change something fundamental like the music, at that point in time I start all over from, because it's just it's one thing to try to push and pull something around and get it into place once you already have the structural bones in place. But if you have to fundamentally move everything around and it's all just kind of up in flux, I find it's almost easier at that point in time to just start all over, not really having any kind of structural I guess, plans in immediate effect, so that you can kind of start that whole creative process uh, uh, um, from the start, so that you can actually find those little serendipitous connections and things like that that you can build upon when you actually start doing your edits and whatnot. But I guess that's kind of like a pretentious sounding kind of thing. Generally, just try to make it, try to make the edits, look good, and cut around the AI hallucinations that just don't make any goddamn sense.
So before we get into the topics, let's say hello to some of the people in the chat. We got Papa Stitch saying hello. Hello right back at you, Papa. And Steph Elise, good friend Alistair too. Hello as well, sweetie. And of course, we have Saint Hugo, game designer. Really cool. He has released 3 games over on Itch. You guys go check it out. It's rather meme games. They're very good. Adventures in the Bigot verse, Grift.
Indeed, I actually did I guess I did the game testing for the Steam Deck of Into the Bigotverse. Officially, unofficially, I guess, something somewhere along those lines. But yes, I was the one who did the testing for Saint Hugo, since I was the only one, I think, who had the Steam Deck handy at the time. So
we got Bend Over saying, "Hail, Scooby Pup." Hail right back at you. And of course,
what up,
Roadkill? Roadkill, go make me some tacos. You make me some tacos, I'll make you some pizza.
Oh, look at this. It's a toasty. Well, hey there. Totally toasty.
Theta Nerd of the Archaeology, my current producer. Thank you for popping in.
Indeed.
Lord Dragneil, how you doing? Retro Overkill raid. Oh, okay. A raid from Dan. That's nice.
Hey, look at that.
That's always very sweet. That's nice of him.
Gracias.
He's great. He's a great guy.
Thank
he
you,
really
Dan.
is.
My little monkey with a gun. Not to be trusted.
You guys got to check out Furious Dan. He's good. The mod with the most from the East Coast, Zelosi.
Indeed. Yeah.
And of course, Triple J 748 Johnson. What's up, dude?
Indeed.
Love the emojis.
I know these people.
Don't we all?
Yes,
They're all
yes.
so
Thank you for the support. For the little me.
For Dan, I have to give Dan his usual.
It's probably more so for you, quite honestly.
I have to give Dan his usual hello. Fuck you, Dan.
I was gonna say, fuck you then.
And of course, hola mi chica. Toasty with the mosty coming in, waving her hands. How you doing, sweetie? I'm waving my hands too. You just can't see it.
Yeah, she was feeling good last night. You know, we had the drinks flowing, made it to midnight. Toasty was still up all the way through.
And we got AJ Star Hiker, another good friend of mine.
Well,
she is awesome when it comes to nerd stuff like Star Trek and things like that. All kinds of things that I love. And she's also a great racer when it comes to Sonic Crossworlds. Lord knows she has beaten me a good couple of times.
Nice.
And then we pretty much curse each other out.
Nice.
How dare you hit me? But our main victim is Dan. No matter what, it's always fuck you, Dan. Everybody, right. We all say it to him.
Yeah, I'm so white. I don't mean to kind of cross cut, but I'm noticing that quite literally, like I am so white. I'm the only person I know who can look like I'm overexposed in a darkened room. There's no lights on, and like I like. You see this?
You're whiter than white.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You're so
No
white that
lights.
Karens would jump on you and say, "How dare you be white?"
Right. Yes, I'm offensive. Just like sensation. Give enough heat signatures. Yes, it's your monitor screen. It's even worse because you're right, Toasty. It's because we're in StreamYard and it's got that white fucking background. Like, fix your shit, StreamYard. I don't care if you think that you're somehow like the best streamer because you got like more
You don't call it
clients, whatever.
StreamYard. You don't call it StreamYard. You call it what I call it, fuckyard.
All right. Well, yes, but it is quite a fucked yard to say the least. Because I don't know what kind of like duck operation this is that they've got running here, but if here's the thing that I don't get about it is like you can set up an account and you can put it in dark mode on your account, right? But then like when I go to be a guest on your stream, it's like, oh, dark mode, fuck you. No, it's got to be like the whitest white that ever whited, and here you go. And it's like, you do realize it's 21st century, like nobody uses like you do like, what kind of weird sadist are you to go and try to make me use a fucking white background?
It's funny because I'll have it in my room, and in my room it'll be like, it just goes insane. The lighting goes insane with it. That's why I have
dark mode, universally dark mode. If you're making apps for anything, dark mode, motherfucker. I implore you, please.
Yes, please, StreamYard. In your next update, put in a moderate mode there, so we can control it.
Right. And it is one of those things too, where it's just like, just leave it to the end user. If you're a weird kind of freak who likes to have like, like an overblown fucking white fucking like, I don't have a ring light, so I'm just going to use my website as the ring light here. Like, there you go, you freak. But for the rest of us who exist in the real world and just kind of like, I probably don't need to be this fucking blown out, like, I mean, can I just have like a goddamn gray background, please? Is that too much? Especially for God, what is the cost of fucking StreamYard? Like $75-$100 a month, basically nowadays for a fucking account that actually depends. Has decent access to features.
It doesn't have monthly anymore.
All right, what do they do now?
Weekly and yearly.
Oh, so they shake you down weekly now. Okay.
Yeah, it's weekly and yearly. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, good God. Wow. That means that the monthly cost is so high that they don't want you to actually see it at the monthly amount. They just want you to think about like, oh, you're getting this many weeks of coverage. God, dumb numbers, man. The way that they try to fuck with people and try to like convince you that you're getting a deal when like, you're getting grifted by these corpos, man. Fucking bullshit.
And of course we have Lenny Kuhn also in the chat. Now that we've said hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Let's bring up a topic and let's see if you guys can guess.
Yes, let's see how long we can stay on the rails until I completely take us off into the woods.
And let's see, just take a look at this picture, guys, and let's see if you can guess what we're going to be talking about. Let's see, money, Xbox, Valve, PlayStation, and Nintendo.
I'm Epstein Island.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I'm here, so there's every indication.
Yeah, Zelosi has it. I see dead futures.
Right.
I see dead people. I see dead consoles.
Right.
Oh, and Toasty's also getting close. We're gonna touch up all that stuff. So let's bring up money. Let's bring
money,
all
money,
that.
money.
Which great big dollar sign. There we go.
Indeed.
So yeah, money is damn right. Every single console and even the newbies have raised their prices. We got PlayStation raising their console price, Xbox doing the same thing with Game Pass.
Yeah.
Nintendo with their games and their consoles, making you think that of course, Steam machine. So which
that was a wet
pick a console, any console.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're all pretty fucking terrible. Like these are all miscongeniality winners at best. Like there's not a debutante amongst these systems. Switch 2, Nintendo people, I think it pretty much speaks for itself. They're like Disney people, like they're just can't. You got the dude bros from Sony that still haven't given it up, even though it's been like 15 years since it's really even been a relevant console. To be honest, just clearly. And then you got the Sony ponies that are trying to somehow cling to the idea that when a corporation tells you, don't worry, trust me, bro, when they're quite literally announcing the closure of a digital storefront, that perhaps maybe they aren't the ones to trust with an all digital library future. It's like, that was the most hilarious things. They're like sitting here saying, don't worry, we're going to go all digital. We got you covered. Oh, by the way, if you own a Vita or a PS3,
don't remind me of the Vita.
I hope you already downloaded your games.
The Vita was fucking trash. Every game on there was digital and it barely had games. Compared to the PSP, which was absolutely epic, it had physical and digital games. You could play imported games on it and not have to worry about tweaking with the PSP. And it had one hell of a lifespan. And the only reason they got rid of it, people were bitching about one toggle. They wanted two toggles. Not one, but two toggles. It's like, what's the big fucking deal? You're missing one toggle. Big deal. And with that, bye-bye PSP. People who complained about that, I hate you. I just want to let you know you brought about a horrible handheld because of you guys.
Yeah, I got greatest.
Absolutely epic. Yeah, greatest handheld Sony ever made.
Yeah. Yes, and actually, I still have it connected to this monitor.
And on top of that, it was very inexpensive.
Yes.
The Steam PlayStation, though, they did when the PlayStation 3 came out, though, they made a big whoopsie for that one, and they're about to do another one.
Yeah, well, see, that's kind of the thing with Sony. Sony's kind of like a hot girl that knows hot girl, right? And is all like, oh well, I'm the it girl. Like, at some point in time, and you're just like, yeah, but you're gonna hit the wall at some point in time. Perhaps maybe you might actually want to not fuck around, because you're gonna fuck around and find out. And they're like, oh no, I'll be forever 21. It's like, no. You're eyeing up on 30. Yeah, I can see the crow's feet in your eyes. All these things, like perhaps maybe you might want to develop like a decent personality and stop being such a vapid cunt, and it's just like, sorry, I hope I'm not like causing problems for the stream.
Anybody who's been to my channel while
Okay, good.
I'm gaming knows very well that this is, even though it doesn't say so, it's 18.
Good. I just wanted to make sure I'm not being too spicy.
And just really quick, want to play one of your clips to say thank you for the $5 from James Ops saying, John Scoob, what's up?
Indeed. Hey, James.
Thank you for the. Shut up and take my money.
And shall we say who made that clip?
I think it was Garden Gnomes, to be quite honest. They're like, you know, like the shoe cobbler, you know, but instead they make videos and I get paid for it. So, you know, it's a nice little deal that I've worked out. They're on methamphetamines, is what I've learned. You know, so they're fairly easy to control. You know, once you learn how to just deal with all their various addictions, and then I just, you know, I get my gnomes to do my editing for me.
Slavery Game, how's it going? So yeah, like you said, Sony is very much like the high school girls. Yeah. She's planning on being prom queen, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, and like my boyfriend, he's in college, and he's like, no one cares. He's just like, no one like you do realize you're peaked. You peaked out. Like this is too late already. Like prom's next week, Susan. No one cares. After next week, it's all over for you. Maybe actually develop like a personality and some actual friendships and relationships that you can count on to get you through your life. And Susan don't care, right? Just, oh, whatever, I'll be a hot girl forever. Fucking wrong. About to hit the wall. That's fucking Sony right now, basically. Yeah,
no amount of good advice can help.
Sony made a big mistake back in its days of the PS3 when it came out against the Xbox. First off, it was late. And second, they were charging $600, whereas Xbox came out a little bit earlier and it was considerably cheaper. And then they
what I loved was when they said, "You will work extra hours to get PlayStation 3. You'll be happy, you'll be glad to put in extra time for PS3." Yeah, like, and that's the same kind of bullshit they're pulling out. Like, the only upside, the only silver lining to this is I got a PS5 at launch or close enough to it because I got mine directly from Sony. So it's like a first generation one. But thankfully, at this point in time, because I got skins for it, or the shell, the black shell, you know, the dark plates, all that. Because there's no games for anything like that. Thankfully, the small amount of stuff that I put into it, money wise, I could in theory sell it and get my money back, as though and just not try to be like a profiteer asshole and just be like, hey, just pay me for what it's worth, you know, like, and I'd still come out like less than they sell them for now, and or like it, and we have like, you know, really nice dark plates and all the kind of what. So I might end up doing that because like I got a copy of Alien Isolation that I'd like to play, but I'm pretty sure I can play it on my PS4. And my PS4, I've got a Death Stranding limited edition, edition. So I think that I'd almost be just fine having that and just get rid of my PS5 entirely now, because it's been a boat anchor of a console. It is just a complete and utter piece of shit. It is a worthless purchase. I tell everybody all the time that I am so disappointed in buying a PS5. And I know that you actually like them quite a bit, PlayStations in general.
Yes,
But it does make for fun conversations when
I
you,
will
you like
admit,
them as much as you do, and I hate them as much as I do.
I will admit that I am a Sony sheep. I will admit that, but I will call them out when they do something stupid. The thing is, the difference between Sony ponies, they will follow you anywhere, hence the pony part. Sheep, you gotta rein us in. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I will call Sony out when they do something stupid to the consumer, which means they do something stupid to me because I am a consumer.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't speak so low of yourself, Scooby.
The PS4.
No. See, like, this is the power of words, you know. It's like the whole idea. I'm like, why we get less as you know, in the world we live in, because we allow ourselves to be considered consumers. This is part of the framing that they do. You know, this is why, like, if we can't have legit capitalism, because capitalism is based on respect to the customer, and the customer goes the benefits, you know. So, like, you have to show them courtesy, you have to actually vie for their attention, try to win their, you know, their trust, their goodwill, their service, all this kind of, so, like, that's framed under the concept of capitalism. Whereas corporatism is all about these top down, you know, lifestyle models, consumer models, and so on and so forth, that go about trying to dehumanize and you know, just kind of discredit and show no measure of any kind of respect towards the individual. So
The thing is,
but anyways, I digress.
but like I said, I'm a Sony sheep. I will call out PlayStation when it does stupid shit. But the PS4, they learned their lesson about high prices. Then when it came to the PS5, they kept PS4 prices, but they also went up a bit in price as well.
A bit.
Also pulling some really stupid stunt. Something that they create. Anybody who has a
Went up
PS5,
a bit. They
anybody who has a P, I want to bring this to attention to those who have digitals. Anybody who bought a digital and a digital Xbox, or you can bring any of those who bought a digital or physical Xbox, or a digital or physical PlayStation. Your money just flew out to the wind, because for the digital, you paid PS4 prices. You wanted the PS5 with the disc, you just paid more than you did for your PS4. Why? Because it's going to have your disc. And then what happens? About a year or two later, here you go. You don't like having a disc for your digital? Well, but it's like, if you want to have a disc for your digital,
what I love,
here's an attachable one. It's like,
right. Well, what I love is the absolute audacity, right? To go and say, all right, two models, right from the get-go. We've got, like, you know, like, we've got this digital model. It's just as good, you see. But we know some of you guys want to, like, you know, have your collectibles. Here's your disk drive copy of you know, disk drive version of a PlayStation 5. That's good for, like, what, 2 years? 2 years into making it, and they're all like, you know what? What if we sell you guys a base model, the exact same base model, all around, where you can either have a digital that is just a digital, or you can have a digital same base model, but we'll have an expansion bay, as you were mentioning, for a disk drive, and we'll just make that disk drive. It'll just cost an additional $100, and you just have to have an internet connection to authorize it. And when it first came out, they wanted you to authorize it every fucking time you turned it on. You know,
It
like
was the
there's
biggest fucking mistake ever. It's like,
and then
oh, we noticed.
and the icing on the cake for that whole situation of all that fucking bullshit with that fucking add-on drive, all those hoops you go
The
through.
add-on drive was the biggest, like you said,
Right,
fucking bullshit.
and just getting a hold of one, as I understand, is pretty fucking complex because they've made them because they're kind of like a cartel. They're trying to push false scarcity, and so they're trying to say that they don't have much of a market for disc-based games because they're making it harder and harder to get rid of to even get a hold of the disc drives and all this kind of stuff, and so they're trying to say, oh well, there's not that many of them. It's like it's because you're not selling that many, and
Yeah,
then like it's complete fuckery.
PlayStation, PlayStation and Nintendo, if it's two things that they have, if it is one thing they have in common, that is the money disease.
Oh, they are so caught up in the
PlayStation
idea
goes
that
about
they
it
cannot
better.
wait. They cannot wait to have everybody just
PlayStation goes
beholden
about it better.
to a closed-knit network storefront that they can go and just kill every 5 to 7 years, so that you have to buy your whole library over and
Yeah,
over again.
there is the PlayStation does it better as far as taking the money and raising prices and stuff. Nintendo's very sloppy about it. Xbox, even when they dipped their hand in the pool, people were like, yeah, no. And then, of course, now we have a new contender, and that is the Steam machine. And what are their prices? God damn, they're up in the thousands and above. And this is something that has the base, this is something that has the base specs of a PS5.
To be
And you
fair,
you can't even personalize it like you can a PlayStation.
to be fair to Valve, they were not pleased with how this thing arrived at the market. However, they had all the possibility to just say, look, we really wanted to try to do a thing, and it's not going to do the thing that we wanted to do. Let's just, kill it for now. But there is one solid thing that did emerge out of all this Steam machine business, because it did come out about $300. Everything skewed up $300 roughly because of the collusion between the RAM cartels. To be quite honest, which they have been they have been convicted of in the past, and they are going to court over it again because of the recent history over the course of the last year and a half, roughly 700% price increase in RAM and storage media prices in the tech sector. So there's a lot of fuckery about on that end. But then these companies who were supported through COVID hell world, they were given these big TARP payments, like they had to stay open there, whatever. And then that caused a whole bunch of problems with the markets, like the thing I was just talking about, the difference between consumer and capitalist markets, or a corporate market space and a capitalist market space. And so we got out of capitalism, no mom and pop shops. It's like the big barrier to entry, all this kind of stupid bullshit. And so now, we're getting nickel and dimed on every fucking thing, everything from these corpos, and and even Valve, the one company, it seemed like they were doing right by trying to keep the costs down. Like when the Steam Deck first came out, you could get one for under $500, under $400. You give them right around $300. It was just game changer and amazing. I used mine for the better part of a year as a daily driver because my laptop shit the bed, and I did a majority of my work as a content creator using a Steam Deck for the longest time. And so like I was waiting and waiting and waiting for a Steam machine, so vested in my interest. And then it came out and it was, $1,500 effectively for their full high-end model. And I just like immediately looked at that and was like, well, no, I'm not, that's not going to happen, and I went and I found an AMD build set, all current generation, 900 or 9000 series stuff. So I've got an AMD Ryzen 5 9600 processor, along with a Radeon X9060 overclocked graphics card, 32 gigs of RAM, 6,000 MTU. It's like all these stuff. So like I managed to build the system with everything minus a Steam controller, which I signed up for. So in 2027, when I actually am able to get a hold of the Steam controller, I will have a better setup, a far better setup than a standard Steam machine. And that ultimately, at the end of the day, is the saving grace, at least with Valve, is if you have AMD based equipment, there is an option that you can just go and just install Steam OS, and it just runs. And like Steam OS, I installed it. It took far longer to set up the install drive than it did to even install my operating system. I had my computer up and running in like under 10 minutes. The entire installation process took. Like I'm talking from beginning to end. From I went in, changed the BIOS to get rid of secure boot and to boot from a USB, and went into the USB, loaded right into that. I went and I just said, scrub the drive, install, clicked on that, and then within 5 minutes it was back into Steam OS, fully loaded, and it works great. I've got it running Heroic game launcher now, so I've got about 300 games roughly in my immediate backlog that I now have available to me. So like I have no reason to miss Sony in any way, shape, or form. Not playing for PlayStation Network, not playing for an Xbox account, and hell, because I've got a Nitro membership and their stupid synergistic bullshit with Microsoft from a while back, I actually get 10 hours a month of Xbox Game Pass evidently now. So if I want to install that to keep up to date with anything that's going on Xbox, in theory I could. So I actually have like a nice setup right now finally for doing content creation and having like a really good workstation bay, but also operates as a very fantastic mid-range, I'd say 1080 to 4K gaming PC class. But I have a 4K monitor, and honestly it's so big that I honestly just use a quarter of a section most of the time, so I can quite literally just put it in 1920 by 1080 quads and have more than enough to actually play a game quite nicely and have it look great, and then also do a live stream at the same time, and have all that occupied with my main control window. So that's what I'm looking to do. So like I don't need 4K gaming. I don't need to have my eyes bleeding from high-end technology. Yeah. So I'll be good. I'll be good with 1080, but it will be nice to actually start doing some game streams and whatnot, because that has all just been opened up to me in just the last week from getting the new system up and running.
And we got another super chat from James Up saying, Did my install work for you, John?
I haven't done the secondary operating system just yet. I need to either put it in a USB enclosure, or I need to get a PCIe to NVMe board, and then just install that. So at some point in time, I might do that, but I also have instead been using your mini PC as I just kind of pulled a Pimp My Ride, where I put a PC in my PC effectively. And rather than using a virtual computer, I just use pre-authenticated devices by utilizing Steam Link app software. I installed it on my new desktop that runs Steam OS. Of course, my Steam Deck has it, and then the little mini PC that James hooked me up with, I also installed Steam Link on there, and so all the systems are pre-authenticated, so I can quite literally I can go inside of my desktop using Steam Link on the little mini PC in Windows that I got from James, and I can just use that version of Windows instead of having to run a dual boot on the new computer. So that's it's a little bit more efficient, and provides me another SSD that I can use for more gaming drives, I suppose.
And
Yeah, fun stuff.
And for that super chat.
Thank you for the. Shut up and take my money.
And of course, we have Miss Sparkles becoming a member.
Ooh.
And thank you for that, sweetie. Just another member. I love you, hun. You see, this is what I do for you guys. I do all of this stuff just for you guys.
Oh my, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, and
look at this.
well, first
look
let's
at this gift train.
Oh my. Before it's all those are membership gifts? All those?
Yeah. You got you got a 5-banger and then a 10. Yeah, like I say, you got yourself a train station.
I guess that means Deadpool's got to come out.
What the hell are these? Hey, can I keep them? Can I keep them too? Why wouldn't you let me keep the girls too? We are gonna have to have some words after your stream, Scoob.
And a little bonus.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, and James Opp says, Scoob, you have to let him keep the girls, Scoob. Nope.
Yes. Yeah.
Nope.
I mean,
cannot keep the girls. He can have some beer, but he cannot keep the girls.
Man, you know, it's those tiny Tinas, man. You gotta let Deadpool have his tiny Tinas, man. What good are all the chimichangas in the world if you don't have some tiny Tinas? You know, some toasty Latinas to spend your time with. You know, some spicy.
So this one girl, this girl in China, I absolutely love what she did. She took a PlayStation, she took an Xbox, and she took a Switch 2 and combined them into her own little console.
Mhm.
And each one has its own individual turn-on switch, so that way, if she wants to turn on her PS5, well, then she'll press this button. If she wants to turn on her Xbox, she'll press a button on the top. If she wants to play on the Switch, she just presses a button on the side. So she
So
has.
it's more of a physical mod than an actual structural one.
What she did was awesome. And I would show the clip, but I would get knocked by YouTube. So fuck you, YouTube. But yeah, I mean,
Get
and
you
then
on the Rumble for these moments when the exploitation ghetto fails you.
and then of course, PlayStation comes back. They say we're going to raise our prices again, and then what happens? They make another announcement. The PlayStation 6 is going to be even more expensive. They're going to come up to $600 with that, and it's like, did you guys not learn your lesson? And of course, you have Xbox. They're going to be doing the same damn thing. They've already done the same thing with their Game Pass, which their Game Pass is going up and down with their prices. It seems like it can't understand. It's like it can't decide where it wants to go. The Steam machine just keeps on going up and up and up in price. It's 1,100, then 1,200, and so on.
Yep. Would you like to get in the pod?
Huh?
Would you like to get in the pod, please? Would you like to get in the pod?
No.
There's some bugs in there. You can have some bugs.
And then Sparkle says, I gotta go bully others. John, no.
You say no. You say
She
it.
says no, but she wants to.
You say it, but you don't mean it.
And I also blame, and then of course, there's the rising costs of games, which I blame Nintendo for. When the Switch 2 came out, they had the higher priced games for both digital and physical. Meanwhile, the others were cheaper, digital and physical.
Well,
and they come out, the prices are raised all around. So it's like I for that particular part, I blame Nintendo.
Oh yeah, and I fully agree with you. The reason though is because and it makes actual sense that if it weren't going to be Nintendo, it would be what we have right around the corner, which is this whole oh, this is Grand Theft Auto 6. This is the greatest piece of media entertainment history, blah 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 blah. So right, it requires a certain amount of just gullibility, that is palpable towards the people that are just they'll buy into it like that, so again, Disney adults are very much there's Nintendo people. There's people that have just been playing Nintendo for longer than they've even had a personality, right?
Nintendo nerds.
Yeah. They never even developed a character or an individual, bit of agency for themselves. They're not really even a person that you can know. They're just a person that represents Nintendo games. And you can have fun playing Nintendo games with them, but you're never going to get to know who they are because they exist solely to support and proselytize for Big N, basically. And so that, of course, if you have a fan base like that, why wouldn't you just kind of be I mean, these are the kind of people, these are the the Jim Jones people. These are the ones who will drink the Kool-Aid full well while everyone in the room around them is dying, gladly, just gleefully, can I get some more? This is good stuff. I love it. How much can I have? And so, with what's going on in the industry with gaming right now, it's kind of a necessary thing, you know, in the sense that had people been paying attention to what all this was, and there were plenty of people sounding the alarm like long before it, you know, even got rolling, you know, like with like the whole thing with digital greed kind of you know, encroaching and kind of undermining the value of things, because, you know, 20 years ago, $5 horse armor, and it was scandalous. How dare you charge $5 for a piece of fucking flash art that doesn't really do much of fucking anything, a little fucking bonus bullshit, right? And like, you know, it's just one of those things. People keep pushing, they find the thing that you won't push back against. And right now, that's like the whole big push on why they're using GTA 6. So like, oh, GTA 6, yeah, people would be like, give me that, like, you know, first in line, I want it, I need it. It's a digital game. Why are you pre-ordering a digital game? Because if you pre-order it, did you know if you pre-order it that you get 6 extra costumes and 3 extra gun skins? And, you know, it's just, I don't care. I do not care about Grand Theft Auto at this fucking point in time.
Yeah, with
Is
Nintendo, it's like they raised the price so much that people are looking for what it actually is, which is really a scam for Nintendo.
right.
It's like, we're going to raise the price X amount to the point where people are just going to want to buy the bundles, which has crap with them that some people don't even want, games that people don't want, other things that people don't even want. So it's like, so Nintendo is pulling oh yeah, we're going to be really expensive unless you buy the bundle. You get the bundle, you'll get games like Mario or Zelda, and
Right.
you'll get this as well. And this,
selling the bundle as though it's a value because it's bundled. It's a value, and it's like, no, it's just a whole bunch of shit that I wouldn't have bought individually, now put together in a package that I have to get together. So
yeah,
your bundle is not value incentive. It is fuck you, pay me.
well, at least where with the PlayStation and the Xbox, the bundle was priced exactly the same amount as the actual systems themselves. You just got something extra. It was like if you bought a $500
Remember
physical
back
PS5.
when you bought a Nintendo, you got like not just one game, you got 2 fucking games. You got Mario and Duck Hunt. You got fucking Light Gun. You got like 2 controllers. You know? Yeah, like
Duck Hunt.
right, like the just the rationing of you know what you actually get, the paying more and getting less of collectability and everything like that we've gone through. I remember just Red Dead Online coming out not even a decade ago, you know. I mean, a little under a decade ago now, I guess. But you know, they had like the vinyls come out. They had all this kind of stuff, but you could actually buy a Ultimate Edition physical with stuff, and then there was like, you know, like when you used to buy a deluxe package, it had all these things, you know, and now you can buy like and Rockstar was one of the first ones who started doing the thing where it was like you bought like a package of bullshit tchotchkes, right? So the collectibles, like your collector's package, was everything but the game, and then the game was like its own, like, you know, grandiose charged kind of thing, and it's just between
Rhoda has it right. We give you something to stick in every hole.
right, exactly. That's pretty much how it works. And between Nintendo and Rockstar, I have pretty much just effectively just said I have a good enough backlog to deal with, that I'm going to not be buying most games the minute they come out, probably for the remainder of my life. Be very rare the few games that I might actually pay for the moment they actually release, like Metal Gear Solid 4. For the Master Collection coming out in a month. That is something I'm very interested in.
I am
and Death Stranding too. So yeah.
That's one I'm buying day one.
But that's Hideo Kojima stuff. So that's yeah.
When you get game bundles like that, it can be worth the price given the game that it is.
Oh yeah, well, especially right now on Fanatical, you can get the deluxe version, right? With pre-order bonuses for $40, so $10 less than what it's selling for, brand new on Steam directly, and you just get a Steam code, but you save $12. So that's what I'm looking at possibly doing myself, depending on if I get enough discretionary, kick around money in the next few weeks. So yeah.
But
hopefully,
then, of course,
hopefully I can find myself some task work.
And Nintendo, like I said, I blame them for a lot of this shit because they did do a lot of physical, and great, wonderful. But then you open up the case, the physical's there, but it's not the game, it's a fucking key card.
Right.
You pay like $70 to $80 for a card that has a key number on it, and you put it, and you just put it in, and there's your game.
Right. Well,
and poof, next thing you know, your game prices are raising across Xbox and PlayStation.
Right.
And
the key cards are just they're a do-over, because that's exactly what we dealt with 13 years ago with the Xbox One, when Sony was clowning on Microsoft for when they became irrelevant for trying to have like an all digital system that was caught up on digital ID imprinting. And do you mind if we just kind of track every bit of information about you and use 30% of this console just to pay attention to what's going on in the room there? Would that be all right, please? No, fuck you. I bought this console to play video games, not to be monitored. And they fucked that shit up then, and now and Sony, of course, made their how do you share games on a PlayStation, and showed them, with the disc. And because that was the whole thing with the Xbox One, is that it was going to have digital access discs, which were ostensibly the key cards a decade ago. And then the whole point of the key card now is just so that they could try to go and smooth over the idea that it's like, oh, well, you're still getting something physical. There you go. But that's not the thing that people are wanting. They're wanting the ability to have some, solvent, stable value, an actual thing that they can extend to someone else down the line, or that they can actually, just have as equity, or something that they can sell later if necessary to someone else who would be interested in holding on to that keepsake. Nothing wrong with having shit that people actually like to have in their life to go and point at and look at and be like, hey, I like to take my time with this and do it the long way. Like I've got over 300 vinyls behind me. When I get the chance, because unfortunately now I live like less than a football field's distance away from a railroad, so I don't really listen to my vinyls the way that I used to. But when I get the chance, just put on some music and make some food at night and whatever, relax, like there's a different kind of listening that goes on when you get the experience of like the sensation of vinyl and whatnot, and like there's like this whole kind of ritual that goes along with
Yes.
having physical media, that is getting lost.
Yeah, and with the pricing, it kind of makes you wonder though, with how much they're raising the price, are they trying to kick you from console, or they're just trying to keep you from bringing it in? Because if they're trying to get rid of console, which I know Steam was trying to do, well then what the hell, Steam? You came out with your own console. Make up your mind.
Well,
You
I
know,
think, again, like Steam,
and theirs is the most expensive of all.
they came into a market that they did not want to come into. Like their intention was very different than the execution, but they should have. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where they could they could have looked at what was and just been like, all right, this is a luxury item, and I don't even think they would have said it from the outset that, look, this is just going to cost way fucking more than it should, and we're, because they said those things. They did say that they didn't want it to cost as much as it did, and that they were happy for people to go and find alternative means, and that's why Steam OS is, readily accessible and free to use, and it is a better operating system than Windows, just in terms of just a daily driver, great piece. Like, I think it would have been great if they would have cut the price and subsidized it just so they could get more people to experience Steam OS, because Steam operating system is such a fantastic environment to work in as a content creator. It's like it's Windows but better, and the few things that it doesn't necessarily do, I've either found ways to have workarounds, or they're so minimal that I could just as easily have like a little mini PC that takes care of those applications or procedures, and not even why even waste my time installing a whole operating system for something that I'm going to use maybe
Once in a
minutes out of the month at most. So
once in a blue moon.
right. So yeah, I think that things are shifting, the way people approach, depending on what your angle is, and I'm hoping to do more with this now that I actually have my new equipment. Hopefully I can help people make some of these decisions going forward, because Steam has some very great opportunities since it's open source, that are become available to people. So I used to have a channel called Awesome Deck, and it's now my Problematic White Guy channel. But I still have Awesome Deck as like a series that I like to do, and I have over on Rumble. I've got everything all set up to actually start doing these things again. And so my in the next few months, I'm going to start putting out tech instructionals and things like that under the Awesome Deck banner, getting back into how you can go and make these pre-authenticated networks to do all sorts of stuff for content creation, and just use open source softwares to save money and time, and just not be beholden to big corpos, so you can actually be more creative and focused on just being an artist and being expressive, than having to like pay for new tools. Just use the shit that's free. And and if you're a capable artist and you want to express yourself, and someone's giving you the means to do it freely, even if you have to kind of like learn a few extra steps to go and do the thing that you want, if someone's giving you a free barrier of entry, then it's probably worth learning a few extra steps. So hopefully I can interest people in helping them kind of embrace their creativity and utilize open source softwares for doing stuff like that, because I think that that's where we're at with, you know, a lot of people do have extensive backlogs, you know, for one system or another. And that's really kind of where it's going to be, is like, are you fine being curated and catered to by a large scale entity that wants to keep you in their network, or are you more interested in trying to emancipate yourself and have control over the things that you want to have access to, and just learning the steps to make that possible? Because if that's what your interest is, you know, I have no problem in showing you how to do that, how to set up, you know, like, well, Plex libraries cost a shitload of money now. I have a lifetime membership for Plex that cost me less than $75, and now a lifetime membership, the price just went up to $750 from like $250 price that they put on it last year, and now I think it's $250 only pays for 5 years of Plex library.
I pull the ultimate little sister move. I leech off of my brother's account.
Right. Well, like I say, thankfully, I have been using Plex since it used to be called PMS. Way back on the PS3 is where Plex began, and it was Plex Media Service, or Plex Media Server, PMS. You know, and then that turns into Plex Media Server, and would go on to actually just become Plex, which is now kind of in its own way trying to be kind of like Roku, but not. I don't know. They're doing some weird shit, but it still works well for me to utilize for just setting up my own digital libraries for music archives, movies, TV series, and, you know, the like. You can even set it up to do photo archives, things like that. So that's what I would tell people at this point in time. I don't pay for download services. I don't pay for Netflix or anything like that. I pay for a VPN, and then I just go and I pirate everything.
Which brings us to the next topic of digital versus physical.
Indeed.
Now, you already mentioned before the whole digital and physical. I mean, there's pricing. 2, there's ownership of your game. 3, it's also a matter of, you know, what's available.
The ease of use. Yeah.
Yeah, ease of use, what's available and whatnot. And I personally, you know, I'm a 50-50, but when it comes to my games, when it comes to movies and such, I usually go for physical. Because if you go digital and something goes wrong, and then you're fucked.
Well, depending on how you go about
If you
going
go physical, but if you go physical, you know, then you can take it back, you know, and get it replaced or get credit, or, you know.
Right. Well, the nice thing with physical too is technology always advances, and so what used to be cutting edge, this will never be jailbroken, gets jailbroken eventually, right? So if you have physical stuff, you can, at some point in time, you can find a way to get a digital copy of it. Generally speaking, you know, if you know, want digital copies of things, you know, that's what I do at this point in time. Is like, you know, 'cause I'm kind of I'm a homeless dude on the internet, basically. I'm kind of a broke dude. So, you know, at this point in time, and as an artist, I just kind of feel like, you know, if you steal my stuff, you steal my stuff. I don't care. You know, you weren't going to pay for it to begin with, so as long as I can express myself enough for you to pay attention to it, you know, I'll take that. And so I just use that as kind of my karmic way of looking at it. Some people might be like, well, that's rationalizing. You're stealing. It's like, well, you know, considering that they don't want us to own anything and they want us to charge access rights, there's no real ownership anymore, so there's no stealing. as far as I'm concerned. You know, piracy is a conceptual thing, and I don't identify with it, right? And so that's my truth, and I'll just roll with it. So that's what I do. Is I download shit that I was never going to buy now if I have an interest in it, or I just download digital copies of it so that I just have them even if I do buy it. You know.
Yeah, that is the one thing that you can do with uh, digital that you can't do with physical is you can go around the net or any place like that and download something that is very hard to find, be it on disk or whatnot, or because it's not on disk anymore.
Mhm.
I
I have a copy of Song of the South on digital. Yeah. You know, watch Zippity Doodah, you know, little tar babies.
And then, of course, but the interesting thing is, though, is that when it comes to the games, they say that digital gaming is less expensive than physical games. Nintendo came out, said, "Hold my beer," and next thing you know, digital games are more expensive.
Right.
And,
When
and
the whole sell job was that we were going to save money because we weren't going to have to like pay for all this needless production. Right.
it's like then we went from having cheaper downloads with the digital to now the digital downloads are just as and sometimes more expensive than the physical.
Oh yeah, and well, especially if they can keep you in a curated storefront such as PlayStation, where you can't, because like here's the benefit, my Steam
Or
PC,
Xbox.
right? My Steam PC, as I was telling you before the show began, I've had a Steam account for about 20 years, right? And in that time, I've amassed over 100 games in my library through various sales and whatnot over time, and that's not even having like a great PC or anything like that. Sometimes the sales are just so good, you're just like, oh, I'll just hold on to that. One of these days, I'll just build a computer and I'll just have a computer that I can just play backlog games that got for a cheap price on Steam one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, that's kind of been what's happened. Because the price is going up and all this other stuff. I stopped paying for PSN last February, I think. Right after the Cowabunga collection came out. That was the last month I had PSN, because I ended up actually finishing Ninja Turtles, the 1980s Ninja Turtles game for the first time in my life ever, because it had the fucking rewind capabilities like Prince of Persia baked into it, which is great. I finally beat that game. I don't think I would have otherwise. But
And digital game sales, granted, like Game Pass and PlayStation, they have good ones. They do have good ones
from
but
time to time, but nowhere near what you get with
Steam.
the availability
However,
on Steam, or even a piece of shit digital storefront like Epic will still go and give you free access to games that, while I won't buy anything from Epic, I do have a nice library of games that I got from Epic.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he does. He read less than half of it to me, and it's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and like and I've got like great like Neo Geo games from Amazon. Like I got like 4 Metal Slug games and Samurai Showdown. A whole bunch of Tomb Raider stuff. I've got like Sifu that I got from Epic, which is a fantastic fucking game. It was free under PSN, and around the same time I got a free copy through Epic. And like I said, I would never, I don't buy games from Epic, but if you're gonna give me a free license for something, to have access to it, fine. I'll see how well it works. And under Steam OS, using the Heroic downloader, Epic, Amazon, and the GOG store work flawlessly. So like it's just an even bigger extension to what's already available in the seasonal. There's 3 to 4 great opportunities to buy games every year from Steam directly, where you can get, you know, tens of games for under $100, you know, like tons and tons of just really great quality, you know, value options. And you know, if we're gonna have to deal with various versions of legalized access and this and that, I don't know. Going forward, for me at this point in time, I have no interest in supporting any of the remaining console manufacturers. Nintendo got rid of me with the Wii. I got told that I was unnecessary. You know, Microsoft tried to put a surveillance system in my house a decade ago, and so I don't trust them. And as stated, you know, the thing with PlayStation, it's kind of like, you know, a hot girl who knows she's hot and she just keeps trying to fuck around and, like, you know, like get away with shit and full power play dynamics. It's just like, I'm just done with that relationship. You can go fuck yourself. Yeah.
And speaking of PlayStation, PlayStation is trying to pull this this shit. They're trying to come 2028 get rid of all their disc games, all their physical media, and bring it all over to the you know, the digital side. And but not only that, but they've taken away like 500 games from the video store.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's movies. I think it's 500 movies.
Movies. So, thank you.
Yeah,
500
movies and TV
movies,
series.
and
Yes.
yeah, and moved them and said, you know, if you want to watch them, then you got to go to the Sony app in the PlayStation Media side.
It's kind of like when they appropriated Crunchy.
The Catch-22.
Yeah, and all the other anime that is getting swallowed up under the intellectual property giant that is Crunchyroll, Sony at large. And the terrible thing is, with you know, these games and movies and whatever it may be, you know, like looking at what the situation is right now, you know, with the cost of media, right? Your memory cost for not only your RAM but also your storage media, right? So that's the weird thing about this, is they're sitting here trying to get rid of physical media at the same time jacking up the price of SSDs as well. So ultimately, you're not even going to be able to really own much that you can have a archive to, right? So ultimately, you're going to be the true version of PlayStation Network will be, for this much money a month, you'll have a front end account that you can store, say, 10 titles, right? 10 titles to your primary account for quick access, right? So by that I mean, like, you'll have an account with Sony, and on their rack server, because you're not really going to be able to afford SSDs going forward in the future if they keep doing this data center shit, if they get away with what they're trying to do. So where are you going to store your digital media now, right? You're not even going to be able to store it for yourself anymore and keep it on your own system, because you're not going to be able to afford a PC to hold it on, or in a device, and or an SSD or a hard drive or what the fuck ever to keep track of it. So now you're gonna have to start paying for archive storage at PlayStation Network. So, you know, your standard account, you'll have 10 games. You get 10 games that you have quick access to, which means beyond that, there'll be a library of games, much like Game Pass works right now for Xbox, where everybody can play these games, but these ones you all stream because they just play off of the network server side, and so they're all slipstream games. And then you got your 10 that you have quick access to, which is kind of like it's local remote hosted, because it will still be it will still be remote because it'll still be on the internet. So you're still not going to physically have it, but they're going to call it a local account. So it'll be local remote. So it'll be like 10 games that you get to go and add to what is there in the otherwise community library that everybody has access to. And then you have 10 select games from the games that you have purchased and paid for. You can have access to 10 at a time that you can just take out of the stable. That's the future. That's what they're pushing. And that's that's like the insidious thing is, like, I would much rather just talk about where it's headed right now, because not talking about where it's headed is how we ended up here over the course of fucking 15 20 years.
And
slow fucking descent.
Because Sony, I mean, when it had the PS3, you could play DVDs and Blu-rays. PS4 comes out, you can only play
PS3 was amazing for as open as it was with media sources and everything that it could play.
And then the PS5 comes out, you can only play Blu-ray. You so much try to play a DVD. Good luck, your DVD's gone. It's been quite obvious that over the years they've been phasing out disc, and that they want to phase out disc because they've been growing their library, but at the same time subtracting from their library. For PlayStation Plus, the prices go up and down with that one as well. It's like they can't make up their fucking mind, and it's like, I understand there's a lot of things that can happen between now and 2028. One thing that is not going to change between now and 2028 is their thoughts on, we want to get rid of physical, and there's nothing you can do to stop us, which is true. A lot of people, you can come up with you can go to Europe, Brazil, or whatever. None of them asking for them to help or whatever. None of them are going to make a dent on Sony's decision.
Right. They're not folding,
and they can't even put a say in it in the first place.
Right, because they already made that change is already in play, which is like the whole fucked up thing about it, because a lot of developers and whatnot.
And Brazil is trying to bring this into the legislature to try and fight it. Brazil, I love you and all, but I wish you the best of luck.
Over 60% of the planet is going to lose access to Sony hardware.
Yeah.
Going forward. Right, because there's around 200 sovereign nations on the planet, 122 of which are about to lose access to Sony hardware because Sony networks do not run in their sovereign nation states. And so that's what a lot of this stuff comes down to, is like, techno feudalism. How do I go and make you beholden to me, a contract lord? Through a terms of service contract that sidesteps your regional sovereignty and your nation state. And so that's part of what we got going on here. It's like all these weird ways of people trying to get their hooks into you to just kind of make you represent their agency and make you less of your own independent kind of actor, and just
well, not only that, is also from a money making aspect too. When it came to the physical disc, Sony only made a certain percentage. Everything else went to the companies and whatnot. Whereas if you bring it onto digital, Sony takes 100% of the profit.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, they have to do revenue shares when they sell items in stores. Of course, the store is going to get a certain percentage of it, and so that's the whole thing. why they want it to be through the PlayStation Network is because then the only storefront they have is the Sony storefront. But here's the interesting thing is they were using the ability to sell games physically as a way to try to circumvent a court case for monopolistic practices from 10, 15 years ago. Like, this is the thing you're talking about with Brazil that's now moving forward because they pulled this bullshit. Because now it's like, well, now you're trying to go and say that the only storefront that you can use is Sony, and if you're not going to provide a storefront, then you've effectively committed fraud by going and making like your services inoperable for like all these people who could just use the equipment previously that now are beholden to this weird fucking network service state that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then Nintendo comes
in. The goddamn planet.
Yeah, and then Nintendo comes in, tries to play the hero. We still do physical. Yeah, right. Let's see how long that lasts. And you know, it's a shame, you know, that Sony is doing this. It really is, but like I said, people can quit. They can quit their subscriptions. They can, you know, complain until they're blue in the face. The thing is that's not going to make a dent in Sony's eyes. As far as they're concerned, they knew this was going to happen, and they have backup plans for this kind of crap.
Well, you know,
if something bad goes for the backup plan that they have for the current one, well, then guess what? They have a backup plan for that one too.
Yeah, well,
they're not stupid,
right? But I think that's the thing, though, is like, you know, you have to be willing to make a move right now. I mean, I can only speak for myself. Thankfully, I was planning for this, you know. Let me see if I can bring this up. I don't know if I can, if this will work, but we'll give it a shot. It doesn't need any audio, so this should work. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if you want to bring this up, so like, because this is what my plan is. Like I said, I have a digital library extensive now, being able to utilize, like, you know, this is my heroic games library, the stuff I got installed here today. I got a copy of Chess, you know, Deadlight that I was talking about, Disco Elysium, you know, BioShock, so all my Fallouts, you know, like plenty of actual just great games that I'm going to be able to actually just play through, and, you know, more games than I even have an interest in even playing. Some stuff that I'll just play just because it's like, what? I have that? Like Gargoyles Remastered? Fuck, why not? Why not?
Here's the thing, though, is for going digital. The head of EA, he was referring to his program. He said, "Get used to not owning your games," when it was referring to EA. When you have,
I thought that was digital, Ubisoft.
Oh, yes, thank you. I knew it was one of the two shitty people. Anyways.
They do go back and forth.
They're both one and the same. The thing is about digital games is they're right. Get used to not owning your games. You could buy these digital games, download them and whatever, and the next day wake up and they're gone. This has happened to me. I did that I had bought back in the days of the PS3. I bought Skullgirls. They gave me the key code for it. I played a little bit of it. The next day, it was gone. Gone from my library. Nothing I could do. Absolutely nothing. They wouldn't even help me out. So for people out there who are like, if I can't get my physical, then just to show Sony, I'm going to go to the PC. Well, guess what? PC games are digital.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, there's this program called Movies Anywhere, right? Used to be like this really big to do, right? Yeah. And so, you know what I'm about to say is, at a certain point in time, Movies Anywhere, thankfully, hedged its bets by saying at some point in time, Movies Anywhere might not exist.
Yep.
So we're gonna, and sure enough, Movies Anywhere. I now have like all those files like that are still associated with it through something else entirely. That thankfully, because there was at least some saving grace in that instance, I have not lost access to those digital purchases. But everything that I had as digital license under those movies, I think at this point in time, I have already made a, replacement of through pirate means, more or less, and other than maybe like a few. I've got like I got the black and white version of Fury Road. I think I need to.
But it's funny that Sony is actually making the decision to do this, because when they came out with the PS5 and they had the digital and then the physical sold considerably more than the digital did, which should be a big, big sign to them, which is probably why they said, let's make the attachable disk drive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so why they're doing this is beyond me. But then again, things like this, they are going to phase out over time. Eventually, pretty much. I mean, look, we got cars that drive via AI. I mean, we got so much going on right now that basically a lot of stuff. It doesn't surprise me that disk is going. It doesn't surprise me that a lot of this stuff is going. It just seems like Sony is doing it first, and they are pissing off a lot of people with the way that they are going about doing it. And like I said, you can complain till you're blue in the face. You can unsubscribe to a lot of their stuff, whatever. That's just gonna make. That's only gonna make it. That's not even a drop in the water for Sony. That's not gonna bother them, because they have their hands in so many other things that the gaming is the least of their worries. If anything, it's just bad press for them.
Right. Well, in the state of reality that we live in, this post-parody clown world, Jeffrey's pedophile island adventures and all that, like actually being like a thing that we now have to contend with. Like, there is no shame to be had left in the world. So it's like, what do you even do when it's like the people that rule you are openly, cannibalistic, ball worshipping pedophiles, right? And it's like, and nothing happens with it. And so it's like nothing happens with, then, they don't really feel compelled to like change, right? Because it's like you're allowing it. They're not being held to account. And so the same thing that's going on with all this kind of stuff. We're not going to hold people to account that do that level of stuff. And we know that exists openly. The level of corruption that we're already dealing with within the way that we're being treated, in these consumer model mindsets, if we actually just take a look at what they've already done, and the outright insanity and the audacious nature of it, then it kind of, I think, comes a little bit more clear of where things are headed next. But a lot of people don't want to actually own up to it. But at the same time, we live in a reality where we just lived through COVID hell world. They quite literally unleashed a bioweapon on all of us to see who was paying attention and who wasn't. So the next steps that are happening is they have all these robot butlers. They want to get rid of carbon footprints. We're carbon-based life forms. You do the math. Like, they want to get rid of us. So that's kind of like, they just want to see like how much surface level distraction we're going to continue to just let them, lead the train down the track, and we're just going to like either chase behind, trying to grab onto the fucking caboose of the train until we actually derail the motherfucker.
As I tell my mom,
it's going
to be death by Skynet.
Right.
That's how we're driving ourselves.
Right. And so that's where we have to start getting ahead of these things and actually realizing that, we have to prevent the overtake. Like, these data centers should not exist, because the whole point of them existing is for international espionage for the 14 eyes or however many eyes they're up to now. So look at you, because it's illegal for your own nation to surveil you, but it's completely legal for a foreign nation that they have an agreement with to do the espionage, and then give them the information, or a private corporation, which is what's happening with the data centers. So like that's like we're all just being surveilled. And the whole idea of like what this country is supposed to be is that we have a right to privacy, and the only people that are actually supposed to be held to account are public servants. They're the ones who are supposed to be under the microscope and scrutinized, and they're the ones who are seemingly trying to flip this whole thing around and opaque the situation so that they can never be held accountable or responsible for anything. And we will have to, socialize every loss while they privatize every profit, and just kind of, keep bearing down on us harder. So
Scott Hotfed says, yeah, Sony isn't the only one. For this to work, all have to do it sooner or later. That's the thing, though. A lot of them pretty much already have.
Yeah,
they're already doing it. Like we got Steam, we got Xbox who's surviving on Game Pass. You take away Game Pass, Xbox has nothing. And then of course you have the Switch 2, which almost all their games are online, or they're digital, I should say. And then of course, you have other handhelds coming out, and you have VR.
right.
Well, all that stuff, it's all digital, and it's almost kind of like Sony is the last in line to maybe do this, and people are really pissed off. And I'm kind of wondering, could it be that people are pissed off because Sony's been like pretty much the last in line to do physical, and they are now going digital as well?
I think it has something to do with a certain level of perception. Because, like, to people like you and I, these are our pastimes. These are, like, our hobbies. This is, like, the things that we just enjoy, all right? And so, like, we have, like, an attachment level and an interest to it that, approaches it at one level. Whereas for them, they look at these things as being surface distractions that, grab people's interest and keep them caught up in this, so they're not paying attention to all the other fuckery that's on about, because like it's weird. Like it would be nice because like, and that's the thing, is people just want to play games, they just want to watch movies, just want to be able to relax, not be beat over the head with messaging and like all this kind of stupid what the fuck ever kind of sorcery that's all
let
about.
us do our own thing,
but that's the problem though, is like it doesn't matter if that's what you want,
it's what
kind of
they
like,
want.
It's right. It's like you can go ahead and be an ostrich and stick your head in the sand, but that doesn't stop the the hunter that's walking around you from still being a hunter that's walking, and all you sticking your head in the sand does is just makes you less aware of what they're doing when your head's in the sand. And that's the fucked up thing, because it's like no one is ill-intentioned, and they have every right to just want to enjoy, their pastimes and like their hobbies and like the ways to just relax and get away from all this shit and some level of escapism. But it's already been so circumvented and undermined through intellectual property rights and things like that, and all this kind of stupid shit. Like the things that you care about don't even matter to people that that have to steward them anymore. And so it's like like that's the whole thing of between like where do properties lie in the hands of the intellectual property rights holders or the fandoms that nurtured them and gave them the ability to actually be sold as intellectual property right kind of investments to begin with. And that's like that's this whole weird thing where it's like I think that we're just in a crossroads where we're going to have to start appreciating people who are just artists for the sake of being artists and what they say through their work and all this kind of stuff. And so hopefully that will be the one benefit that comes from this reframing of this technological pause, as it were, that's seeming to happen because of the cost of everything. And so that, like people are going to actually have to focus on what they're doing with their games now and not just trying to sell it on intellectual property rights kind of fucking nostalgia bait and stupid bullshit like that. And they're going to have to get away from doing DEI practices if they want to have any possibility of trying to have that conversation with a possible customer audience, because the consumer audience doesn't exist. That's been proven.
GZD says, do you have the same strong opinion of digital versus physical media as you do with commerce? For instance, you go to a store that says cash only versus a store that says Apple Pay only or tap to pay.
I would be sooner to go to a store that is on cash only than on card only.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to get, especially if you're using your debit. It's easy to get your stuff stolen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Scott Hotfed said, if any other company wanted to suddenly get big and dominate the industry, all they'd have to do is keep making and selling physical media. Everyone would flock there. Yes, everyone would. Everyone likes to hold, cuddle, and want ownership of their game. I mean, I do. I love having physical discs. I have a huge backlog of my physical media. And in some cases, a buddy of mine, he buys both the physical and the digital, because if something happens with the digital, he's got the physical as the backup.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why, as soon as I got this PC, the first things I acquired to go along with it is, like I said, I've got a 12 terabyte drive for file archiving. And then I have a 5 terabyte drive just for running gaming applications and stuff like that, on a quicker access drive. And then, I have room for more to grow for like another 3 terabytes. So like, new computer, and I'm already running at like 15 terabytes of just kind of like, that's my baseline. It's like, yeah, physical. Because like for me, physical media encompasses digital copies. I honestly do believe it that way as well. Because if you have physical media, you should also have backups to your physical media. And at a certain point in time, you're going to have to start maintaining your backups more so than your physical will be able to keep up, because we've learned that DVDs do fall apart. Some of them just, and it doesn't matter how well you treat them. You can keep them hidden from the sun, never get any kind of light shining or anything like that. But the material still breaks down, it just turns to powder. And
especially if you don't hold it the right way.
Right. So in instances like that, it's important to also make sure that you make physical backups of your digital files. So that's what I do. Is I generally have at any point in time 2 or 3 copies of every file that I have. So I've got a media library of over 15 terabytes of information that it's just my own personal entertainment media and stuff that I've made as a content creator. So
that's interesting. It's a very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, and oddly enough, I don't even think I actually even have really all that much, because like in terms of content creation, since I'm just a guy who's on a lot of live streams, and not a guy who really runs a channel in the last few years, I don't have a lot in the way of amassed stuff like that anymore. So I suppose that'll change here in the near future. I'll start getting that stuff again.
I
But
gotta say, this is probably the easiest question. Retro gamer stores hobbyists love this move by Sony because it would create a demand for physical collection. I think the retro gamers and stuff would be extremely pissed.
yeah. Well, that because like part of the allure of having a retro game is it's not getting changed. I mean, you go and you have digital right access to something, and that means in 10 years, when you don't want to renew a license because someone's fallen out of favor because of something they've said, some stupid bullshit or what the hell ever, for some reason they're being, memory hold and erased. They'll go and they'll just clip that shit out of the thing from your childhood. And so your memories don't mean fucking anything. It's just like, it's all just so just disposable, And so if they don't even care about it at that point in time, then you really shouldn't feel bad about pirating to have a copy of the thing that you actually cherish. Because if your memory is just your memory of it, and the memory that you have of it is up for debate, then fine, let them fucking have their intellectual property, and they can have it be whatever the fuck it is. You just have your memories attached to the files that you keep. Fuck
Yeah, and I mean, there's also emulators,
Mhm.
though.
Yeah, it's one of the things I got. I'm hoping that I still have enough space. I can install EmuDeck and then try to go and get a good 30, 50-year history of consoles to go along with all the other games that I was showing off. Because yeah, between setting up EmuDeck and the games that I just have in my free-to-play library and my Steam sale backlog, probably have, I'll have easily like hundreds, if not thousands of games here within the next few days, weeks at most. So I don't really worry about Sony's endeavor at this point in time, because it's like a good movie is a good movie regardless when you watch it. A good game is a good game regardless when you play it. And I have no problem playing old games that look all right, because like a lot of newer games also look kind of like shit, kind of like a lot of newer movies look worse than older movies, when it comes to CGI and things like that. We're just like at this weird point where it's like sometimes like having nostalgia right now isn't like because you just have a fondness for old things and it's misplaced affection, and you just wish things things used to actually be better. And now it's like not just a subjective thing, it's just like objectively.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
we used to have tape decks and stuff for music, and then it went to CD, and now music is digital.
Right. Well, it's like 4K prints, that are taken from film, that were
And
done
we
on
even have
35
8K
millimeter.
now.
Look
It's coming out.
fantastic. But if you do a 4K print off of a digital file, it looks like shit.
Yep. And on top of that, we got 8K coming out. And it's kind of like, really, you don't need to stop. I mean, we went from game cartridges to game discs,
Right.
to
It's just like,
floppies, even floppies. We don't even use floppies anymore.
right.
I mean,
And it's just all about the dumb numbers. It's not even about like the quality of the experience. It's just it detaches so much. Like that's kind of part of the whole reason too on what gets lost on Sony getting rid of physical media is you're getting rid of people's memories to have with their kids, with their parents, with their friends, just like actual being part of someone's life. The reason why people give a shit about the PlayStation brand is because they grew up traveling with it with their friends. With the weekend, they would go and they would take, we're gonna go up and we're gonna camp out and we're gonna bring console. Yeah, we're gonna bring console and
they could bring their games,
and we're gonna like do like this full big fucking fight tournament at my uncle's cabin or what the fuck ever. Stupid. Like,
Or of course with the PlayStation 2, you and your friend, you have the same game, but you have those the little sticks that you could have used to save your
LAN
memory
parties with
on.
Halo on the original Xbox. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I didn't like about the PlayStation 2 was the little save cartridges, because if you lose that cartridge, you were fucked.
Indeed.
It was like, guess what? You're starting the game all over again.
Yeah, although I mean, like in that instance, it's not one thing; it's another. And so, like like with the media being separated from the games when they went to to discs, because that was the thing is like like when you got a cartridge, of course you can easily have the the storage media in there along with all the other kinds of media. But when you're doing a read only media with the ROMs, they had to come up with a way for the save file. So I don't know that they could have really done anything other, because I do like the portability that they had with storage. I do also like that they went and made cloud backups a decade or so ago. Like that's the whole thing, is like you should not rely on just physical. You should not rely strictly on digital. Like that was the whole thing about like having like this whole capacity to just choose your own level of interest and versatility and have some wherewithal. That was the whole point. That's why like like they pushed this shit, but it was all just magic beans. Trying to say one thing now and then like something later when it's more convenient to change the story. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that by any chance that maybe at some point in time they will bring back physical discs? I mean, like if they see that this is maybe because if they see that maybe going digital was a really big drop, really bad decision, do you think that maybe they might say, "Hey, let's bring back physical"?
Well, there's always going to be some level of counterculture, like when COVID Hell World happened. Like I said, I got like I have over 300 vinyls, right? And I managed to get those in about a year's time. And it was under the idea that, well, if I do end up, I always feel like we're going to end up in one of two dystopias, right? We're either going to end up in like a techno leash up my ass, like cyberpunk with nowhere to turn to without being monitored, or a fucking like cindering, just smoldering doom spire of like like a dystopian Fallout setting where there's no electricity. And honestly, I would much rather have the no electricity one, because then I can fashion my own fucking electricity using solar and other forms of whatever, because I'm not a hat rack, right? And so like records come in really handy at that point in time. I'll still have music, right? So I think that there is always going to be some group of people that are gonna have those kind of interests, and I mean that's part of the reason why I have my library storage that I'm doing right now, and the archives, is just so that as these systems become more closed off and I guess exclusive in their networkings and whatnot, I'm going to try to have things that are more open source and just slipstream to my needs and whatnot, and that I can just use freely and give to other people if I so choose. And because at that point in time, it's just like it's rebellion, and whether or not the artist agrees with me using them as a form of protest, I will include them whether they want to be included or not by giving those files over to other people. Just so
Do you think that
continue to rock the free
do you
world.
think that the whole COVID lockdown, which brought which got a lot of people to have to do digital, whether they liked it or not, because they couldn't go out and get physical games if they wanted
Right.
to. Do you think COVID lockdown might have had a lot to do with this?
Oh, of course. I mean, that was part of, like a lot of what we're dealing with is Pavlovian training exercises. A lot, like so many NPCs that surround us, right? They get co-opted into these things that they just normalize. And so it's not for the people who have the awareness to it. It's for the people that just kind of are compliant and willing to not say whatever and just whatever. I just want things to go back to being normal. Can't you stop being weird? Can't you just wear a mask for like a few weeks? And it's like 2 weeks flatten the curve and all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, that was very much the idea. With that was the killing of
Possibly giving Sony the wrong idea with
right.
Sony.
Right, the last vestiges of mom and pop businesses, actual mercantile level capitalism. That's what got destroyed with COVID Hell World. Was they've completely destroyed small businesses globally, worldwide, and so the only thing that was left are these large corporate conglomerate structures that are too big to fail, that were gilded with a whole bunch of money that was just printed. And so the inflation debased the economy even further, making it that much harder for people that were already in the market to enter back into it once they had already been forced out. And so their buy-in, they were basically priced out. And so since you don't have a competing market, all these other things can play out. And so we're just seeing it manifest itself moreover. And all these industries that are, playing along with corruption are just as corrupt themselves, and magnifying the situation and making it worse, to where they're all acting like the fucking diamond industry, because diamonds aren't scarce, but they just push them as false scarcity. So that's what's going on with RAM. That's what's going on with all this fucking bullshit. So they're just like sitting here trying to say, oh, well, you need all this stuff. We don't fucking need, like, and that's kind of like this whole idea of like, we talk to each other. We entertain ourselves for the most part. Like old movies are perfectly fine to watch. They're just as good as new movies these days, if not better. So like that's kind of the thing is I would say is, just check out a fucking contemporary fucking pop culture, because it's not even worth it. It's a fucking clown show. To some degree, like actually just start giving a shit about like, like the things that you still care about from way back when. Just enjoy the thing from way back when. It doesn't need to have a modern interpretation, because if it does, it's probably not going to be any good.
Very much similar to back when, not back, I don't want to sound like this is a long time ago, because it isn't. It's kind of like the option to go indie when a AAA game sucks like no damn tomorrow. Then you do what's next. You either go play old games from your backlog that are great, go retro, or you go indie.
Yeah. I mean, for the same expense of my time, I can pay a hell of a lot less for something that is just as entertaining. Broforce is a fantastic game that generally people can get for under $10, and it will fucking more than fill your time in life.
I recommend people go to itch.io and check out St. Hugo's stuff. They're they're comedic and memey, but they're fun. But yeah, I think also COVID might have had a big part to play in this, along with Nintendo, because I think a lot of the companies probably got the wrong idea because of COVID.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, like corpos are constantly learning the wrong lessons from most things. Like they're just now, it's 2026. They've been doing this push for DEI for a fucking decade, right? Over a decade, and they're just now going, oh well, we're getting directives that we have to actually do shit that's profitable. Like, Obsidian being told, shut the fuck up, make a Fallout game. Bethesda
Yeah.
going, but we make Fallout games. And they're like, shut the fuck up. You're making a Fallout game too, but you're not, like we're Microsoft. We own you. We own Obsidian. You're both making fucking Fallout. Shut the fuck up and just make a goddamn thing that makes money. I don't care about your goddamn stupid fucking avoid bullshit. No one bought it. No one cares. Make Fallout, and that has taken over a decade for them to now just be like, and they're into a third season right around the corner of the series for Fallout, all this kind of stuff, and like there's just completely not even doing anything in service to it, and then like the rights are kind of all up in the air too, because Obsidian was Black Isle, like they're the ones who actually made it, but then like Todd Howard wants to sit here and act like it's his thing now, and he'll sit here and try to tell people at Obsidian that they're not doing the property justice when like they're the ones who fucking like are the property rights holders and are kind of like that corpo fucking like guy that was sitting here complaining, saying who owns the thing but doesn't really care about the thing, but because he owns it he gets to say, it's Fallout's an interesting property.
Yeah, definitely.
Against the backdrop of all this digital rights management stuff, because of all that it's kind of talking about, all that it represents, and and the various interests at play there specifically. So yeah, you can almost do 2 hours just on that.
Well, here's hoping that they will eventually go back to disc. I mean, things that usually, some entertainment businesses seem to run in circles where they start one way and they try it out, and when they see it's kind of failed, and they go back to how it was working. But I'm hoping that that's how it'll probably work with Sony, though I doubt it. We can always hope that's how it'll work.
Indeed.
I mean, you never know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's Sony, so even if you get them to change their ways, they're always going to go back to trying to fuck around.
Yeah,
eventually.
I think by then the damage will be done.
Sony's made for the streets. How's about that? Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good enough answer.
Indeed.
So, what you got coming up? Show your shit.
Well, you can always find me throughout the week over on Toasty's channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday evenings. And then on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m., you can usually find me on the Weekend Culture on Honey Badger Arcade's channel. We did not do anything today because his wife wasn't feeling that great. So we just took the day off just in case. But yeah, generally speaking, they're on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. If not there and he's up and willing to go on a Saturday, I'll be over on Will's channel. And if not on Saturdays, then 11 a.m. Sunday mornings. We'll be doing stuff on Will's channel once he gets his schedule a little bit more finalized. Other than that, of course, as I was mentioning, I've got the new hardware. So I'm doing, I guess, commission work for various people, to Scooby being one of them. So hopefully that will help kind of keep me busy, along with actually getting my own creative, I guess, poles back in the fire, so to speak, and stoking my own creativity. So plan on doing stuff with my Rumble primarily, and my exploitation ghetto account. I suppose I'll post some things to it, probably my awesome deck VODs when those will be coming out. So if you have any interest to follow me, you could check for @problematic_John or problematic white guy on most platforms. One of those two should get you to me. Just go to my X account. Indeed, go to my X, find it there. I got a Discord that I put together for a whole bunch of content creators like 2 years ago, but it's kind of irrelevant now at this point. But if you're interested in that, it does work as a good notification system for everybody's live streams and their VODs for large coverage of the Bigotverse and its various affiliates. But yeah, this was fun. This is great. Always fun time hanging out with you, Scoob. But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. I'm glad to see that double digits of people actually wanted to just
thank you for your thank you for your various insights. Very interesting to hear what you have to say. You're pretty good on you're pretty good on topics like this.
Well, I have some thoughts. I mean, I've seen a few things and whatever, but yeah. But no, it was a great conversation. I mean, you did call the price on the Steam machine.
Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna brag, but
no. But you and I, we were having this conversation up until about a month and a half ago. I was holding that they were going to do right by everybody, and you were like, "No, the price is going to go up. It's going to go up." And I'm like, "But no!" Yeah. And then the price of the Steam Deck went up, and I was like, "All right, Scooby, you win this round." And then you're like, "Oh, you want to come on the show?" I was like, "All right, because yeah." So if you aren't going to mention it, I will before we end. Yes, you were right.
Yeah. Even 8-Bit Eric, he fought me on it. He's like, "No, I think it's going to be around 700." I'm like, "No, with new gear, it's probably going to be higher than that." I was like, "It's probably going to be about 900, and the Steam Deck will probably be thousands."
Like I said, I wanted to believe, but and when it's all said and done with, I actually have a better system than had it actually come out the price that they had shot for. So thank you, Valve, for not delivering a reasonably priced budget machine, because now I actually have like a really fucking awesome gaming system.
So many people are finding other ways to go. And hello to Gamer Nurse Gale, member for 7 months.
Oh,
yes,
I know Gail.
Got a little smiley face there too.
She's like the reverse Will. She's a Filipino that went to the UK rather than a Brit that went to the Philippines. But yeah,
hopefully the business world will go around in circles and we'll get our discs back. Who knows? It can only be seen in the future, but right now, what's in the future is we're not getting it back. As for me,
I did want to say one last thing, as I always say. Y'all have a wonderful week going forward. Safe travels ahead. Be awesome as always. Thank you.
And as for me, I want to thank you all for coming in, watching, checking things out. Of course, next weekend we will have as a guest Dash Attack, and the following weekend after that we'll have Vex Electronica. Dash Attack, of course, we're going to be talking more games, maybe a little bit of pop culture. And Vex Electronica, she and I, on the following Saturday, we will be talking about Spider-Man, the new one that's just coming out. She and I will be talking about that. So yeah, that's going to be a colorful conversation. So thank you guys for coming in. Have a great night, evening, morning. Please like, subscribe, comment, especially comment, like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 700. And thank you for watching. You guys have been great. If you have any comments about what's going on, please, about the physical disc media and stuff, like I said, leave a comment. We'll be glad to hear it. In the meantime, you guys all have a great, wonderful evening. John, once again, thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
Bye-bye, everybody. Love you.